Good dogs. Now we're working on a big problem that we've been having, obviously, especially with him because he hasn't been here long enough, is the stay. One dog is working, the other dog's in a stationary position.
He's never been good at stay.
Leash and collar, when they're both together, they don't, you know, we haven't really been doing a whole lot of enforcing downs because, again, you know, it's like what you tell if they're down. They have to be stationary. That's it. Stationary meaning your feet are planted. You're not spinning like a top. You're not dashing from one end of the dog bed to the other. You're not allowed to move. And we actually have a really good correction on this clip earlier because he was just acting like a moron. And between my son handling him and I finally came over and gave him 3 checks with the leash, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not supposed to move." What they do in the stay at this point is immaterial. That they stay is the only thing that matters. And working one off of the other. She actually is great. She could care less. She gets a little aroused when it looks like he's having a little bit more fun than she is, but she has worked perfectly fine. We did the one stay, or the one where we were working them both on the door exercise and the phone rang, ended up a 4-minute stay.
Oh.
So, and I was, you know, I wasn't that far away from them after I came back into the room, but it was like almost 5 minutes, the total. The one section where it's just me talking on the phone, you know, who wants to watch that? It's 4 minutes of, so basically, yeah, I mean, I could have gone into the kitchen, got a drink of water or whatever, answered the door, so on and so forth. And the point I'm trying to make is it's proactive behavior. It's not reactive behavior. So when you know there's a likelihood that a situation is going to occur, you walk in prepared, okay? You don't walk in and wait for something bad to happen and then correct them out of it. You prepare them by telling them in advance what you want them to do. I want you to leave it, and I want you to be quiet. And it works, especially with him when we're bringing dogs past, because these guys are in the kitchen. It's the warmest part of the house. It's also the most active part of the house. Every time we bring a dog by, the first day or so, well, you know, we're doing that 15 times a day, 20 times a day with a bunch of different dogs. Suck it up.
Right.
So what we started doing, and we do this with all dogs, is before we even get another dog, as we're approaching the kitchen, Romeo, quiet. Not a peep. Not a peep.
Good. Mom doesn't have to kill you.
You're going to be surprised at how much more control you have over these guys. You really are. So basically, all right, now that we've had, you can have the love fest. You can let them get your nice, pretty white jacket off. Who wears white to dog training?
Oh, this thing's already gross.
It's a bitch to videotape.
Right? Now, when you're done, tell them off, leave it.
Okay.
He is a very good boy.
Leave it.
All right, now you can get up. All right, now, I gave him a little bit of a prompt. I'm not saying you can't love your dogs. I'm saying that you have to be a little bit more respectful on how you deliver that love. If part of the problem you're having is overly aroused neurotic behavior, you don't want to give them that big giant love fest all the time.
Right.
Because it's like a drug. They keep seeking that. You know,
Yeah,
the
going
endorphins
back
start
to mother.
pumping. Exactly. So what we want is reward calm behavior. Good dogs. Yes. Off. Leave it. Leave it. Very nice. And I'm not withdrawing entirely, but I'm not giving him the satisfaction of acting like a dingus when my hand's present. And she basically doesn't care. She does, but she doesn't.
She acts like she doesn't care.
She acts like she's been beaten with a 2x4 her entire life.
sensitive.
And then as soon as it's something that she enjoys doing, good girl. I know. She likes walking on the leash. She doesn't like having to do anything other than that. She doesn't like coming when called. She doesn't like sitting and staying. She doesn't like kenneling. She doesn't like any of that. Good dogs. Okay. When you walk these guys on a leash, how are you walking them? One in each hand or both in one hand?
Usually one in each hand.
Okay. All right.
Because he is always like this, and Riley's like always like
Okay.
this. So
Well, she actually prefers to be in the center. I'm trying to get the smaller dog to the outside, and this is going to take some practice, but we're actually going to teach you how to handle both dogs
Okay.
in one hand. All right. All of the equipment that they have on is going home with them. But what we're going to do is, like the reins of the horse, double reins on a horse. Have you ridden in the past? Have you ridden with double reins?
Probably just single.
Okay. Well, you can separate them. All right. So one's on the bottom, and one's on the top.
Okay.
All right. So that way, and depending on where the dog is, you can determine, basically the tactile sensation is going to tell you what you need to do.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get these guys on the floor. Hold this for just a second. Come here, chunky monkey. Oh, there we go. Get on the bed. You can stick her. Well, okay. But
We were gonna
now,
go on the
we're going to do this one at a time first, so I
Okay.
can show you. Because these collars enable you to be able to control the most minute of behaviors without putting a lot of pressure on. Most leash and collar training is this. Okay? With these, it's this. Okay? Big difference.
Yeah.
And the thing is you don't want to make a really abrupt correction with these collars because, yeah, they hurt. All right? But the thing is, though, light touch, all you really need to get the dog to motivate is just simply close your hand and squeeze, and that's it.
Okay.
All right? So when we're moving, one at a time, left leg leads, Romeo, let's go. He goes to pull or drag, which he's doing, okay, dropping the head, all of that stuff. See how easy it is to control him? All right?
Off.
And she's the same. She has a tendency to drag behind you
Yes.
because she doesn't like the leash pressure. He's doing this now because you're over there. But he normally doesn't. There we go. And essentially, again, you march. Here's your orders. Let's do this. All right? And when they're right, good dog. Okay, nice job. So that way they understand that what they're doing is appropriate behavior. Now, if you notice, when I'm handling the leash, I'm handling it like this. Okay? These guys are so low to the ground. Normally, I advocate for just one leash, one hand handling, but because you're going to be having two dogs, I'm going to show you a technique on how to handle both dogs simultaneously.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to bring her over here.
What is the thing? Let's go.
Riley, let's go.
Riley, let's go.
Good. Good, good. Now, you're going to hand me the leash, and I'm going to swing her in just by stepping forward. Go ahead and drop it. All right, you see how my hands are separating it already? She's moving in. What I'm going to do is come forward. Let's go. All right. Now,
Switch.
he's already fighting. That's okay, because as long as I know where my leashes are, that's him, that's her. All right. Now, she's going to try and go back to the outside, and we have not had a lot of time to be able to work on this, just by virtue of the fact that doing this disables your ability to communicate with both dogs effectively. Because what's happening is you automatically default to, whoa, now like,
Right.
all right. So what we want to do is add a little bit of refinement so that way we can control one dog at a time or both dogs simultaneously. Now, when you're working with both dogs, you can't be going, Romeo, Riley, Romeo, Riley, Romeo, Riley. You have to come up with a name that addresses both dogs.
Okay.
When you're correcting a dog, you have to address that dog. So if Romeo is acting like a tool, it's Romeo, leave it. Okay? Or out, or quiet, or whatever. If it's both of them, it's okay, guys, kids, pups, dogs, whatever word you want to use. I just use guys. I used to use ladies until all of my dogs became boy dogs. So, all right, guys, you ready? Cue word. She knows what it is. He basically has a tendency to ignore it.
Yeah.
Romeo, are you ready? Riley, let's go. So now I have a leash in each hand, or each portion of my hand. And you see how she kind of drags behind? Okay? By having my hand fixed, she can't refuse. Let's go. All right, I'll tolerate some jockeying for position. I won't tolerate it for long. Keep the pace. And I want the smaller dog on the outside. Good, good. Quit. Good, very nice. Good, good. Okay, just by virtue of the fact that it's easier to control the smaller dog on the outside than it is the smaller dog on the inside. She actually prefers to be on the outside, or to be on the inside. But she requires confidence, so we force her to the outside. And he requires a little more self-control, so we force him to the inside. And basically it's just a matter of managing those leashes and remembering which goes where. All right, so we're going to put him back up here, put them both back up here. Come on, guys.